I'm Ross Hardy and I'm the creator of the Living in Spring Hill, Florida channel, and I want to let you in on a teeny tiny secret, and that is this. When people contact us about moving to Tampa, Florida, 95% of the time, they don't end up living in Tampa, Florida. It's just that Tampa is the nearest main point that they can reference. They normally end up in one of the suburbs, and what we've seen happen recently is the expansion north of Tampa into some of the surrounding suburbs there. They're very, very popular. They've seen rapid growth. They have a ton of amenities while still being convenient to Tampa. But there's a lot of choices out there. So I want to make sure that I'm giving you the rundown of what I consider to be the best ones. And people might have a number of reasons for not wanting to be in Tampa. Maybe they want to be in a better school district. Maybe they want more amenities or new home builds, which there's not a lot of new home builds right in Tampa. Maybe they're looking for a slower pace of life, or they're looking for more land or acreage. Maybe they want to be closer to the water. There's a whole number of reasons, but whatever the reason is, please be sure to watch as we break down the 7 suburbs north of Tampa that I think you need to know about and you should be considering if you're thinking about moving to the Tampa area. Now, what prompted me to do this is we're seeing a huge influx of people from the moment from California and Denver, Colorado area out west, and then the typical influx of people from Chicago, Michigan, the Midwest areas. But we're also seeing some people coming in from Texas, which hasn't happened in a while, as well as Georgia and the Carolinas. And they're always asking the same questions. Hey, I love Tampa. It's got a great kind of small city feel, but I don't want to be there. I want to be just outside of there. And listen, like I said, there can be a lot of confusion when looking at the areas. That's why I made this channel. That's why I'm making this video. So with no further ado, let's get into the good stuff. Grab your notebooks, grab your popcorn, and enjoy the video. Okay, so let's start off by jumping straight into the map here. Again, my name is Ross Hardy. I'm a real estate expert with the Hardy team and Remax, and I want to give you a broad overview of what are some of the best suburbs, in my opinion, north of Tampa. That's the area that we specialize in, is basically everything north of Tampa. Now, like I said, what we see is this growing trend where people are maybe first honing in on Tampa, and then as they realize maybe they want slightly better schools, or they don't like the traffic in Tampa, or they don't like the price points in Tampa, they're looking to some of those suburbs further north, and there's some really great choices out there. So I'm going to go into some of those today and take a look at them in a little bit more detail. So first of all, let's get some context. Tampa is right down here, and you can see if I zoom out a little bit that Clearwater is to the west, Lakeland is to the east, and then Orlando is right up the I-4 corridor here. So Orlando is a pretty easy trip to make from Tampa, just straight up I-4. But do realize that that's going to be quite a bit of traffic there, depending on which time of day you're trying to travel, or some people would say regardless of what time you try to travel. But it is just inland from the Gulf and kind of in west central Florida. And the areas we're going to focus on today are the ones north, like I said, and we're going to start off with what is one of my favorite suburbs of all, and that is the West Chase suburb. So to give you some backstory here, when I first moved here in 2005, West Chase was actually the place that I wanted to move to. It had a young, trendy vibe going on, and I loved the feel of the area. It was very familiar to me, where it had its own like downtown where it's walkable. You could walk to the restaurants and bars from the condo that I was looking at, and so I really liked that whole approach. The problem was in 2005 is I was priced out of the market, and so I ended up looking further north. But every time I go down there, I'm still reminded why I loved it so much, and every time we sell a customer a house down there, I get just a little bit of FOMO about the whole thing. So zoom out just a touch here to show you where it is in relation to Tampa. The Tampa International Airport is right here, and then you would go up 589 Suncoast Toll Road, and then West Chase is going to be right in here. So it's the closest of all of the suburbs that I'm going to show you today to Tampa itself. And it's actually just been voted the #1 suburb in the Tampa Bay area for a number of years in a row, but just got that crown again. So I think you guys are going to love this place if you go and check it out. Now, West Chase has actually just been named the #1 suburb in all of Florida to live in. So it's really, really exciting. It's easy to see why, like I said, has a really, really good feel to it. A lot of amenities, has great schools, and it's so close to Tampa. Now, of course, you do pay a premium for that, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But again, it's just north and then slightly to the west off of exits 8 and 9 by Citrus Park in Tampa. So it's the closest one. And the area I want to focus on is this area right in here. This is the main part of West Chase. Let me just kind of circle it in here. And as time goes on, it kind of expands a little bit and people extend what they consider to be West Chase. But to me, it's going to be this area all in here. And there's all sorts of different types of homes in here, which is really, really cool. So they have condos in there, they have townhomes, they have single family homes, they have homes in little private gated enclaves. So no matter what you're looking for, you're going to find it in West Chase. So these areas in here, for example, by Cavendish, are very much the little small villa homes. The townhomes and condos are in this section in here. This is the main little strip, main road in and out here, West Chase. And then some of the single family options are to the north of Limebar and over to the west side here, over towards West Chase Golf and Country Club. So really, really great choices. Now, obviously, I'm going to play some of this video here so you can see some of what the little downtown walkable areas look like. Again, this is expanded over the course of time. Okay, so I am walking around here in one of the little downtown walkable areas right by West Chase. So I guess what you would call West Chase proper or downtown West Chase. And you can see here, there's like a world of beer. There's a burger restaurant, a Thai restaurant, a pizzeria right here, coffee shop on the corner there. So one of the things that drew me to West Chase when I first moved here and made me want to live here was the fact that they have this little centralized downtown area. And coming from Europe and England, a lot of towns have these little walkable areas where you can kind of park up, skip around restaurants and stores and stuff. And then when I moved to Florida, I realized that wasn't really a big thing, I guess. So I love the fact that it's here in West Chase. And this is one of a few little areas around here that has this, but it's a huge, huge area. Lots of little gated enclaves. Like I said, there's townhomes, condos, single family homes. There's a golf course, so there's golf course homes as well. And the amenities here are really comparable to some areas of Tampa without being in Tampa. Although you're only about 9 miles north of Tampa Airport, so it is one of the closer communities to Tampa. So definitely consider West Chase if you want to be close to Tampa without being right there. I would highly suggest you check it out. But the original one is right in here. There's a little Irish bar here, there's a Mexican place opposite, and a little town square almost thing in the middle here. So really, really cool. So there's this area in here, which has some, and then this area over here, which is kind of like the downtown West Chase area, which is a little bit more expansive. So really, really great options. You can see here you have West Chase Elementary School, Early Learning Center, both of which are fantastic, and then the Park and Recreation Center, which is also a great little amenity to have as well. And then, as I said, over to the west side over here is where you have West Chase Golf and Country Club. Really, really cool golf course. Challenging enough for most people. Very, very picturesque. Some nice water holes, as you can see here. And just a really, really great addition to the community. Now, there are several little villages inside of West Chase. All of them are just a little bit different, so that's kind of cool as well. And the great part about it is because you're so close to the Veterans Expressway, the Suncoast Parkway, if you go into this area down here, you have all sorts of amenities as well. So you're going to have your Sprouts supermarket, you have your Costco, Aldi, you have a bunch of restaurants in here. And then as you head a little bit further north up on Sheldon Road and turn onto Citrus Park Drive, you have Citrus Park Town Center, the old Citrus Park Mall, where they have stores, restaurants, and then the Elevate Fun Tampa, which is really, really cool. It's a newer addition. So if you have kids, or even if you're an adult and you want to do go-karting, they have some really, really cool stuff going on in there. I love what they've done with the space and how they've transitioned that and changed it over time. You know, your usual suspects as far as the restaurants go. And like I said, there are 28 different communities within West Chase that make up West Chase itself, and there's a lot of variety in the housing. So I do want to take a dive into the map and just take a look at some of the different options, and you'll see the variety in the price points as well. Even just this broad overview here, you can see we have some $300,000, $400,000 options. We then get into $700,000, $800,000, $900,000, $1.2 million, and there's kind of everything in between. But let me show you some specific examples about what I'm talking about, and maybe that'll give you a clearer view as to what some of the places are. So this was that original little section I was talking about with some townhomes and condos. This is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath for $464,000. You'll see here, nice flooring, very, very presentable. This one's virtually staged. It looks really, really cool. The white kitchen cabinets, which is very much back in style now. Split level, but very, very functional townhomes. That's about 1,800 square foot on that one. And let me see if I can find one of the villas in here. If there's one for sale. Well, there's none for sale, unfortunately. Nope. So that would be those properties there. Let me take a dive over here a little bit more and show you one of the townhomes. So this is a 2,000 square foot. It's up for 715,000. You can see the different feel, very much the higher ceilings, more light, bright and airy, wider rooms. This is just absolutely gorgeous. And I love this one myself. See, there's that FOMO I was talking about, but an absolutely gorgeous home, unquestionably. And then, like I said, in the single family options just to the north of Line Bar here, a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, 2,800 square foot with a pool for around about the same price as that one we just showed you before. So you can see how when you get right into that little downtown section, the pricing is more expensive than when you get into some of the little villages just a little bit further out where it's maybe not quite a walking distance. But this is still a gorgeous home, 2,900 square foot. It's going to be plenty big for most people. A nice tile floors, has that kind of Mexican tile, which I have in my house. Nice white on white kitchen. Yeah, they've done a really good job on this. And then a gorgeous pool area. Who wouldn't love a private pool in Florida? So that's those. And then let's get into some of the more expensive options in here. This is a nice little gated enclave in here. 3,200 square foot on Greencrest, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, just over $1 million. Backs onto the lake as well. This is gonna get some people excited here. But again, really, really nice home. So that gives you a pretty good idea as to the homes in Westchase. And like I said, the school system there is absolutely fantastic as well. You can use great schools or niche to look up the school grades, but they're some of the best in the Tampa Bay area. Like I said, that's why it's been voted the #1 suburb to live in Florida. It's why it's eternally popular. Never in the 20 years that I've been here has it not been a vibrant market down there. But to me, if I had my magic wand where I could wave it and move anywhere, that would be where I would move to in the Tampa area. The other part of it is that you are only 16 minutes from the airport. So you really couldn't be much closer to that without being in Tampa. So if you are someone that's going to need to fly in and out a lot, maybe that's part of your job or you just visit family a lot, that is going to be a fantastic location for you. Okay, so what I want to do now is move from Westchase and go a little bit further north into the Lutz area. Now I've skipped over Carrollwood here. A lot of people will talk about Carrollwood, and it's not that I don't like Carrollwood, it's just for me it wouldn't be one of the places that I would choose to live in necessarily at this stage in my life with having a family and stuff. I prefer to be in some of the other suburbs. So a lot of people will talk about Carrollwood. Again, I have nothing against it. To me, I didn't put it on the list because I think there are better options out there, and Lutz has some of those options. So I want to take a dive in here and take a look on the map. Now this is about 14 or 15 miles north of Tampa, and it's just a straight shot up US 41 or 275 even. The access is pretty easy. You can again get some traffic depending on time of day because there's really only 1 or 2 ways of doing it. But for the most part, it's pretty light. I've not really seen any significant problems when I've been down there showing homes or visiting family down there and stuff. Now, when I dive into the home map here real quick, which we're just gonna do, some people again are gonna talk about Avila. Now, Avila is gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. It's one of the premier communities in the Tampa Bay area. For most people, it's not going to be achievable. You can see the sort of price points that we're looking at here. If you have that much money to spend, this is a real premier option. Unquestionably, definitely check it out. I'll go over it real quick just so we can cover it. But for most people, this is, although it would be a dream location, it's not going to be somewhere that's going to interest a lot of people. But you can see how absolutely stunning the homes are in here. Again, any opportunity that I get to go in there, I absolutely love. I love the style of homes. There's varied styles in there. I love the design features that they have in there. Let's take a look at this one. I mean, just look how gorgeous that is. Again, stunningly finished, really high-end custom in there. The best of the best. Keep that in mind if you have that sort of money to burn. But otherwise, you're going to be looking at some of the other, maybe more achievable neighborhoods in there, and I'll focus in on those a little bit right now. So something that would be fairly comparable to that, maybe not quite in that price point, is going to be Cheval. Now, Cheval is one of the premier, again, gated areas within Tampa. They have a stunning golf course there, the TPC, which is fantastic, really premium course. They've held a number of PGA events and senior events there over the years. So it's a really great option for people. Again, it's right off of the main roads, so there's no issues with any difficulty in access or anything like that. And then one of the cool things is you can get on the Veterans Expressway really easy. It comes out onto Dale Mabry, and then this just leads right into Veterans here. So that's really, really cool. Like I said, fantastic access. Cheval's really a popular choice with a lot of people who want to be maybe just a little bit further outside of Tampa in a golf course community. Fantastic options in here. Let's take a look at some of the homes. This is 2,700 square foot, 3-bed, 3-bath, listed at $740. Again, you have that 2-story with the open living room with the high ceilings and that kind of gallery landing feel. Again, really, really nice appointments in here. And your own private pool. And again, this one's a little less expensive, 2,100 square foot. Again, they have a really good variety of size of homes in here at $569. This one's a little older. But you can see still a nice home. And then going up to maybe the slightly higher end would be something like this, 4,100 square foot. Again, private pool backing onto the pond or the lake. You kind of get the idea as to how this looks here. I love the open spaces in this. And again, that white style kitchen, which is very popular at the moment. So that would be Cheval. And then just to the north of Cheval, there's going to be some great options as well. So let me dive into here, Villa Rosa. There's another neighborhood that you might want to look in, 2,888 square foot here. Again, backing onto that water, gorgeous private pool. So that would be Villa Rosa. And then again, as you go a little bit further north of Villa Rosa, you're going to get into Long Lake Ranch up here. But you have some really, really gorgeous homes as well. Again, backing onto the lake. These are a little bit newer in here. This one's built in 2016, 779, but again, has the paved driver entry, beautiful kitchen, that darker style on this one that plays in with that wood look floor very, really nicely. Yeah, really, really nice home with that upstairs landing area as well. And then this would be one of the townhome options over there, listed at 343, 1,600 square foot. So again, really, really good range of prices in there. These are really, really cute as well in person. So those would be some of the options in Lutz. I do want to point out something in Lutz here. Back here it is. It's the Mustard Seed Deli. So this has to be probably the best sandwich place around. I absolutely love this place. It's just a little bit further north here. Let me zoom out so I can show you where it is in relation to everything else here. This is Cheval down here. You would go up 597. It's just over here. So Mustard Seed Deli is really one of those crazy sandwich places. I'm going to find the pictures here. I've posted so many of them in the past, but look at those stuffed sandwiches. They are absolutely delicious. I cannot and will not drive through Lutz without stopping at this place. I once actually even drove an hour out of my way to go and get lunch there. So if you're ever thinking of passing through Lutz, or if you're living in Lutz, good luck to you because you won't be able to resist it. But I really want to put this on the map. It is a fantastic place for a great sandwich. Now, much like West Chase, the schools in Lutz are going to be basically A schools. Again, use great schools, use niche to look those up, but really, really great schools in that area. Again, a lot of these suburbs that I look at, particularly the ones immediately north of Tampa, so Lutz, Land O'Lakes, West Chase, Odessa, Trinity, and Wesley Chapel are going to be majority of A, maybe some B schools. Really, really fantastic school districts, which make them also popular, of course. And again, the great thing about being somewhere like this, one is that you're close enough to Tampa to go in and enjoy the restaurants and some of the amenities that it has there, but they also have their own selection of them as well in that area. And Lutz is one of those areas which is undergoing pretty good development at the moment as well. So there's always new choices coming in. They just built a huge new EOS Fitness gym up in that area as well, which is a really great amenity for people. So again, you don't have to go into Tampa to enjoy some of the finer things. They're starting to expand further north and go into some of these suburbs, which are immediately to the north, 10, 12, 15 miles outside of Tampa. So Lutz is one of those areas which is, again, becoming more and more popular as time goes on and has that great school infrastructure and now the service infrastructure to support it as well. Okay, guys, so I hope you're getting value from this video. We've still got some more suburbs to go, so don't go anywhere yet. But I just wanted to let you know that if you are getting value, please be sure to like the video. Leave a comment when you finish watching, let me know what your favorite suburb is. I love hearing from people like you. And then be sure to hit the subscription and notification buttons so you can be kept up to date with all of the videos we do like this about the Tampa Bay area and the suburbs, as well as the new home tours. People find them invaluable. We get calls from people every single day watching the YouTube channel, just like you, asking questions or trying to set up home tours of the area. And we would love to be your resource and help you. I've been doing this for 20 years. I help hundreds of families every single year. Believe me, there's no stupid questions and there's never a bad time to start doing research. So reach out at the phone number. You can call or text that. Be sure to send us an email or set up a Zoom call, send up a smoke signal or a carrier pigeon. I don't care, but if you have any questions and you think we can help you, please be sure to reach out. Doesn't matter whether you're 9 days or 99 days away, we want to help you. All right, let's get back in and finish the tour. Okay, so let's go a little bit further north from Lutz here. So again, let's just zoom out to Tampa. You can see so far we have covered West Chase here, Lutz here, and now I want to take a look at Land O'Lakes, which is again up US 41, just north of State Road 54. So if you were going to go to Tampa, you could either go down 41, you could go down Dale Mabry, or you could go across 54 and cut down the Suncoast or the Veterans Expressway, which is the toll road. So three really great access ways into Tampa there. So this is about 20 miles north of Tampa. You're now getting into about 30-35 minute drive territory, which is still not far. And like I said, there's a couple of different ways to do it. So I want to include this in here because again, this is a really rapidly developing area. We've got some really cool stuff coming in here. And I think 5 years from now, this place is going to be kind of like Wesley Chapel is at the moment. And the two places that I love, or three places I guess I love in Land O'Lakes, is Bexley, Connerton, and Wilderness Lake.
All right, guys, so I'm actually here outside of Club Connerton. Now, Connerton is a huge community, master planned. I actually remember looking here back in 2006 when I first moved here to maybe move here myself. They had massive plans at that point for like a downtown, amphitheater, their own schools, and Connerton Elementary is open. Club Connerton is here with the fitness center, kids club, splash pool, water park, there's a cafe, and there's tons of new builds in here as well. So if you're looking for something just outside of Tampa to the north, but still has a lot of amenities on the doorstep and inside of the community, Connerton might be a consideration for you. Reach out to us for all of the builders, the resale information to learn more about the amenities here, but it's a really great consideration. It's a community that I've always loved, and I'm really excited that they're really kicking on with the building in here now after a slight delay when the market was, lower than it was. Lower than it is now, back in 2008, 9, and 10 period.
Bexley is in this 54 and Suncoast Parkway corridor right in here. It's a newer community. Connerton is an area on the north end of Land O'Lakes. It's the furthest away from Tampa. And then Wilderness Lakes is right in here. Connerton was the original grand master plan development that was actually designed by the same people who designed West Chase down here. So it has that downtown aspiration. There's an amphitheater, kind of some cool stuff being built. The problem with Connerton was they were building it back in 2004, 5, and 6 when the market crash occurred. And so stuff came to a grinding halt in there for a long time. And it took a while for that community to take off again with the new construction boom over the last 4 or 5 years, where we're now seeing that building starting to happen at a more rapid pace and some of the stuff being built up around the outside of it as well to support it, as well as what's going on in that little downtown section of Connerton. So what I'll do is I'll zoom in here on the map a little bit and show you some cool places again. But one place I do want to point out while we are here, which is again one of my favorites, is In the Loop Brewing. Which is just north on 41 there. They have some really cool food places. Hungry Harry's, by the way, one of them. But In the Loop Brewing is really cool. It's an awesome little brewery. Really nice outdoor sitting deck. It backs onto the water at the back. It's great to go out there late in the evening, afternoon as the sun's going down and enjoy a refreshing beer. They do beer flights as well. Really cool place. And then just north of that is where you're going to find the Wilderness Lake, and you're going to find Connerton as well. So there's Wilderness Lake and there is Connerton. So diving into the map here for homes, let's start taking a look at some of these. And we'll start with Connerton because it's probably the largest and most readily available inventory of homes. And again, you can see just broad overview. We're starting around the kind of 3s, low 4s, working our way all the way up here into the 7s, 8s. But let's start with some of the less expensive properties. We'll go towards the back here. So this will be a new construction home that's being built in here. Again, like I said, there's a lot of new construction, and new construction are offering the best incentives for people at the moment.
apartment. This is a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,300 square foot for $449,000. So you can see how your money stretches a little bit further the further north you go here. As we go into some of the resale sections here, this is a 3,700 square foot home, 5-bedroom, 4-bath for $724. This is going to have the private pool and back onto the water at the back here. But again, gorgeous home. You can probably see yourself living in something like this, right? And then again, some of the less expensive resale options would be $525 for this 2,900 square foot home. You can see a lot of the 2-story homes in here. They're a little bit less expensive for the builder to construct, gives you a bigger bang for your buck. But you know, the quality of construction is very, very good in Connerton. And then zooming out a little bit, Wilderness Lake Preserve is a little bit more established. It's a much smaller community. I love the homes in here. I actually sold my doctor a home in here. But look at this, 1.2 million, 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 4,300 square foot. But how can you beat that? Talk about a beautiful lake background where you have the dock out the back. So that is just absolutely spectacular. I love that ceiling style as well. But I do have some slightly less expensive options in here as well. Not everything is up in those price points. So this one here is 2,000 square foot, $500,000. But again, very, very nicely finished. And a beautiful home. And then moving on to Bexley. So Bexley is one of these newer neighborhoods where it was really one of the first, again, kind of grand plan communities north of Tampa that featured some new stuff. So this one is very much, you know, think miles of bike trails, walking trails. You know, they have wooded nature trails in there. They have a very large number of playgrounds in there for kids and stuff. They have really, really cool amenities in there. One of my buddies actually lives in there. It's really, really neat. But Bexley is kind of almost like a small town unto itself. It has its own little business park in there. It's a really, really neat neighborhood. And again, newer construction homes in there for the most part. This is a really, really great option if you want to be close to the Suncoast Parkway for easy access, but you still want to maintain, you know, that kind of naturistic feel. 3,100 square foot here for this 5-bedroom, 4-bath home. You can see the sorts of finishes on this one. This would be one of the more standard homes in there. And then as you get to the back over here, these are a little bit more custom construction back here. It's where my friend lives. This one's a 3,000 square foot for $850,000. Again, backs up to that little no build area at the back here, but you'll see the difference in the quality of construction here with the design features that you don't necessarily find in the other one. Absolutely stunning. That FOMO's kicking in again. But they also have townhomes in here as well, and much smaller homes. So this one here, for example, is a much smaller house, 2,000 square foot, $489,000, if that's a little bit more in your price point. Again, really, really nice home there. Like I said, they have townhomes in here as well. Really a whole wide array of properties. That's these ones here, just finishing construction. 1,600 square foot, 3-bed, 3-bath for $345,000. So definitely check out Bexley. Like I said, if you want, you know, a host of amenities, this is going to be something that might be a little bit more in your wheelhouse. This is the little restaurant here and one of the clubhouses where you can sit out the back. It's really, really cool in there. These are some of the walking trails that go into the woods and the forest here. So really, really awesome opportunity there. Like I said, newer homes, great location. That's going to be in Land O'Lakes. And again, the schools here are going to be mostly A and B schools. Bexley actually have their own school out the front as well, which is really, really convenient. There's a hospital right out the front as well. So definitely worth taking a look at. Across the way here, this is the Advent Health, which is really, really cool. There's like a Glory Days, Carrabba's, sushi place, Mexican place, some really, really cool places in here as well. All right, from there, we're going to go west on 54. So let me just zoom out a little bit here, and we're going to move over west here to Odessa and Trinity. So Odessa right here, and then Trinity is just a little bit further west again. Now, going back a few years, this was the fastest growing zip code in all of Florida. We actually had an office in Trinity at that point, and every time I drove to it, it would seem like there was a new neighborhood popping up somewhere. So that really underwent a huge amount of development about, 4 or 5 years ago. Wesley Chapel has kind of taken over that crown a little bit now, where there's a little bit more new construction going on out there. But this was the place for construction back then. So they have some really, really cool stuff. There's
amenities are plenty. There's several public supermarkets, but they have some really, really cool ones where they have the fresh salad bar and stuff like that that you don't find in some of the other public supermarkets. And they've also revived the really cool little downtown area of Trinity, which sat vacant for years and years and years before they actually put anything in there. So that's really, really exciting to see it take off again. Trinity is, again, one of those areas that I just love. It's super convenient for access to Tampa, as well as access to the Gulf. So if you wanted to get out to the water, this is one of the areas that's going to be closest. Here you go, here, to being able to go down to Tarpon Springs to get out on the water, or some of those areas. So again, the further west you go, the closer you are to the Gulf here, and Trinity is as close as any of these to the water activities. So this is about 30 miles north of Tampa, so you're getting kind of into 35-40 minute territory to get down to Tampa, particularly if you're going to be over towards Trinity here, where you have to get back along 54 to get on the 589. If you're in Odessa and you're somewhere like Greyhawk or somewhere like that, it's not going to be as long, but as you get further west, 54 can get backed up in a little bit of traffic sometimes, so you're definitely going to be closer to 45 minutes to get down to Tampa. But like I said, it's a great jumping off point if you want to be closer to Tarpon Springs, to Palm Harbor, to Dunedin, and some of those water activities. So State Road 54, of course, is the main road here. You can see there's a great golf course here, Fox Hollow. Starkey Ranch, which we're going to take a look at in just a minute, has its own district park in there, as well as some schools within there as well. Again, it's built on that kind of Bexley and West Chase idea of being its own little township almost, with everything that's going on in there. That's really one of the more popular neighborhoods in the area. But there's some smaller undiscovered gems as well. So not everything has to be those big neighborhoods. Like I said, Greyhawk is a really great, much smaller little gated community. And then as you move further along here, Champions Club is a really, really nice neighborhood as well, right by the golf course there. A couple of little areas inside of there, which are super high-end homes, really beautifully built, high-end finishes. Let's just take a dive into the map here and take a look at the homes for sale. I don't know if Greyhawk has anything at the moment. Let's take a look real quick. Whoops. All right, so this is 895. It's going to be on a little bit of land. So actually, this is not in Greyhawk, it's just outside, but this is on 7 acres. So you can still find acreage around there. It does exist, even this close to some of the kind of larger developed areas. Here we go, this one's in here. So 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,333, or the 3 square foot, 850,000. But again, it does have some waterfront lots in this neighborhood. Again, one of my other buddy doctors lived in here for a while. Really, really nice homes, really, really nice area, super close to the Veterans Parkway, so really convenient access to the Suncoast Parkway, which he needed being a doctor to be able to get to the hospitals if he needed to. So that's a really, really fantastic option. But like I said, I do want to take a look at Starkey Ranch, because I think that's going to be something that interests a kind of wide range of people.
Guys, I'm here now at Starkey Ranch, and this is in a prime location in Odessa, Trinity, right by State Road 54. So as soon as you come out the community, there's all the commercial restaurant, bars, public stores, all those amenities you would expect, and you're only about 4 or 5 miles from the Suncoast Parkway, so you can get easy access to Tampa on the toll road. And Starkey Ranch is a huge community. It's really one of those communities where it's kind of nature-centric. They tried to build it with that in mind, you know, walking trails, biking trails, stuff like that. And they have their own community park as well, with soccer fields, baseball fields. They have all sorts of amenities here. So these are the kind of emerging trends of these communities, where we're seeing them build their own community parks inside the communities. They have the K-8 school just down the road here. It's really like its own self-contained area. So definitely check out Starkey Ranch. I love the style of homes here, and I think you will too.
So they do have that district park in there, like I said, and then they have these little gated enclaves kind of all over the place. Again, there's some townhomes in there. There's some really nice single family homes. There's some newer construction. They're just finishing building out in there. So let's take a look at this one here. This is 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,767 square foot, built in 2018 at 669. Now you can see these lots are a lot smaller. This is only 6,200 square foot lot. But again, the homes in here are really, really nice. I love the style of the homes in here. Very, very well done. But again, you can see the sorts of style of home that's in here, the sorts of finish and amenities. Starkey Ranch would really be probably one of the primary places you would start looking at if you were going to be looking to move to this area, in my opinion, just because of the wide variety of what's there. You know, 1,689 square foot, 2-bedroom home for 500. So that's going down to the slightly lower price points that you would find in that area. And then again, if you want to go up, it's 1.35 million at the back here. That's just an absolute stunner, which is 4,100 square foot.
Yeah, really nice with those soaring ceilings. I love the wood accent walls that people do. It always gives me inspiration for mine. But you can see really, really nice home there as well. So wide variety of homes inside of Starkey Ranch. And then I want to bring attention to maybe a little less known area. So I do want to bring attention to a slightly less known area, and that's going to be Longleaf. So Longleaf is off of State Road 54 here, just past Trinity Boulevard. The style of homes in here I just absolutely love. Let me show you what I mean by that. It's kind of like the older style Florida, older style country look homes. So this one's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 629,000, 2,600 square foot. But a lot of them have these front porches and these pillars, which is just a look that I absolutely love. And they're very, very nice houses on the inside as well. But just stylistically, I love the front facades on these homes. Again, look at this one here. It's really, really a stunner. Take a look at some of the ones over here. So you can see the sorts of style that I'm talking about here. And they have their own pools in some cases as well. But not a lot of people look at this area when they're looking in the Trinity area. It kind of goes undiscovered. It's a little smaller area. It doesn't have quite the number of homes that some of the other areas do. But I do want to bring your attention to it. It's one of my favorites. Like I said, it's maybe a little bit under the radar, maybe not after this video, but if you're in Trinity, certainly check out Longleaf. I think it's well worth the time to do. Now again, they're going to be mostly A and B schools here. There's all sorts of amenities, restaurants, supermarkets and stuff along that State Road 54 corridor there. Certainly no shortage of supplemental stores and stuff like that to satisfy your needs. And of course, you also have something like Starkey Ranch where you have like 20 miles of walking trails. So really, really great option. Again, a very, very popular area, particularly 5 or 6 years ago. It has kind of been overshadowed by Wesley Chapel a little bit in more recent years, but still well worth a look, well worth a visit, particularly if you want to use it as a jumping off point to be closer to the water. Okay, so we've looked out at the west. Let's hop back over to the east and go take a look at Wesley Chapel. Now, if you've been researching anything at all in the Tampa Bay area as far as the different suburbs go, there's a fair chance you've already heard about Wesley Chapel. It has seen absolutely explosive growth over the last 10 years, but 5 years in particular. And it's really the epicenter of a lot of the new construction stuff. And the reason being is they're building some really different types of communities over there. So whereas the focus maybe in Land O'Lakes, Lutz, and Trinity has been on these kind of nature communities with miles and miles of walking trails. They leave the forest kind of preserved and the woods preserved a little bit. Wesley Chapel is really kind of the jumping off point for a lot of these lagoon communities. So Epperson Lagoon was the first one that was built there. Marada is being built now as well. But they have these man-made lagoons where you can buy day passes, but they're also, of course, primarily for the residents, where they have all sorts of stuff like water slides, they have floating obstacle courses, they have swim up bars like this one here. You can kayak on there. They have little man-made beaches where you can kind of wade in the beach. And they're really like a resort style community. So they're very, very popular for that reason, but also there's a ton of restaurants, ton of stores, some really, really cool stuff to do. It's actually where I go mostly with the family to do stuff. Crate is fantastic. It's like all of these little shipping containers that have been turned into mostly restaurants, but there's, you know, champagne bar as well. There's tapas, there's Jamaican food, flipping fries, burgers, chicken places, sushi. There's also some sneaker stores and some other stuff as well. They have live music, movies under the stars, and stuff like that. It's a really, really neat place to check out. And then you also have some of the old favorites a little bit further south here, where you have Tampa Premium Outlets and you have the shops at Wiregrass. So those are the two main shopping malls in the area. But I want to show you something just over here, if I can zoom in enough to find it, and that is Popstroke, which is the putt-putt course on steroids almost, which is designed by Tiger Woods. So it's a different type of putt-putt course, but look at that. It's really, really cool. It's like Top Golf, but for putt-putt. So again, they have that. They have Main Event over here as well, which is really, really cool. Kids love that. It's like an arcade, bowling, laser tag kind of place as well. And they always run specials on certain nights of the week. I think it's Monday and Tuesday, where we like taking the kids over there after school sometimes. But amenity-wise, stores and things to do, this is really, really cool here. You can live in Wesley Chapel and never get bored, never run out of things to do. So looking at it geographically on the map here, it is about 25 miles north and slightly east of Tampa. So you're going to be pretty much looking at a run up 275, turning into 75. Now I will tell you, this is kind of renowned a little bit for its traffic.
Now, when you're coming out of Tampa, going back to Wesley Chapel, if you're going to be commuting to Tampa for work at 5 o'clock or 5:30 on that State Road 54 and 56 exits, I've seen those backed up for almost a mile. So definitely some traffic issues in Wesley Chapel. Again, it's a little bit further north than a lot of these, but it is a pretty straight shot, and you're looking at about a 25-minute probably commute into Tampa, depending on the time of day, depending on the traffic. But because it's off of I-75, the thing it gives you is great access to other areas of Florida as well. So you can go north. I'm going to zoom out here and just show you real quick to Ocala on 75 here. And it goes all the way up to just west of Jacksonville, where you can cut across, or you can go the other way across 10 into Tallahassee. It's really one of the more convenient locations in the Tampa Bay area. And that's why Wesley Chapel is so popular, because of its convenience off of I-75. Now, again, schools are absolutely phenomenal. They've really come on leaps and bounds, and it's really one of the best school districts in all of the Tampa Bay suburbs. Again, great schools and niche are awesome places to check out. But I have people specifically saying they want to be in Wesley Chapel just because of the schools. And there's this emerging trend of younger people who have maybe grown up in Tampa or gone to college and university in Tampa. And then when they get married and start moving, looking to make a family, moving out of Tampa into the suburbs, Wesley Chapel is by far and away the most popular place that we're hearing from customers at the moment. So community-wise, I already talked a little bit about some of the areas. Obviously, Epperson Lagoon is massively popular. Saddlebrook is a more established community, a golf course, some tennis courts and stuff there. It's really kind of known for that. Some of the other ones might be something like Estancia, River's Edge, are really, really cool. But there is a ton of new construction in Wesley Chapel. If you are looking for new construction in particular, this is likely where you're going to find the biggest choice, and you're going to get the best deals as well. There's some absolutely phenomenal deals to be had with the new construction here. So this is one of the homes in Epperson. 3,300 square foot, 600,000 give or take, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Again, you'll see the type of home that we have here. Very, very nice. But again, a huge wide range of price points. So a little bit smaller, 2,200 square foot for 425. But then you can go down to this little section in here and find this massive 4,300 square foot home for 925,000. So pretty much, again, every single size, every single type of home is going to be in Wesley Chapel, but Epperson Lagoon in particular is going to have a huge variety and choice in these little villages and enclaves. And again, if we look for Saddlebrook in Wesley Chapel here, it's again, like I said, it's a little bit more established, but they do have in here some condos starting around 325, going into more of the single family homes. This will be one of the smaller ones, 657 for a 2,000 square foot. And then they have the luxury homes in here all the way well up over $1 million. But like I said, this is on the golf course, so you can see how beautiful this is out the back here. Gorgeous, gorgeous home, beautiful neighborhood, tons of amenities in this neighborhood as well. So definitely be sure to check out Saddlebrook. Now, just to mention on the new construction while we're in Wesley Chapel, like I said, this is where we're seeing the greatest incentives at the moment, and this is where you're really able to make your dollar stretch further when you have builders buying down the interest rate or giving you $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in closing cost concessions or to take off the price. So we have new construction experts. You've probably seen some of my new construction home tours. If you haven't, check them out on the channel, but definitely make sure to include new construction on your list. It might not be exactly what you're looking for, but it might make the difference between you being able to get the size of home in the area that you want or not. Okay, so the last two places I want to look at are very familiar to me. It's where I've lived in the time that I have been here, which is going to be Spring Hill and Brooksville. They're the furthest north, so you can see they're quite a little bit further north. Spring Hill's about 40 miles north of Tampa. Brooksville's about 45 miles north of Tampa. So you're getting from Spring Hill, you can be at Tampa Airport in about 40 minutes because it's a straight shot down the 589 toll road, which is this road here. For Brooksville, it's a little bit more different. We live in downtown Brooksville right here. I go across 50 and down 75 to get to Tampa, and then down 275 most of the time, depending on where I'm going. But normally I'm going into this area down here. If I go to the airport, I'll go across 50 the other way and down the Suncoast Parkway. But accessible to Tampa very, very easily. It's just you are about 40-45 minutes away. So it might be a little far for some people, but I do want to focus on there because it's really where you can stretch your dollar to go the furthest. And again, they're areas that are rapidly developing. But they're two very different and distinct areas. So Spring Hill was built up mainly back in the 70s and 80s as kind of a retirement community, but it's changed a lot since then. And it's kind of undergone massive growth over that time as well. And then downtown Brooksville is much more historic. Homes there dating back to the late 1800s. They still have those brick streets with the hanging moss trees over them. It's a walkable downtown area, and you're going to find a ton of content on my channel about both Spring Hill and Brooksville, as far as map tours, walking tours, pros and cons, and everything else, so be sure to check those out. Now again, Spring Hill is going to be very, very close to the Gulf because we do have Hernando Beach down here. So you're only about a 10 or 15 minute drive away. And in fact, Weeki Wachee Springs State Park is where, if you've seen on TV, they have the real live mermaid shows. They're really, really cool. People love visiting there, watching the mermaid shows. And they also have the Weeki Wachee River where you can go kayaking. It's a beautiful, gorgeous river. It's just a really, really fun place to live, particularly if you do enjoy the water activities. Now, it's a good job it's close to the 589 Suncoast Toll Road because there are not a whole ton of stores there. It's getting better. We did just get a Sprouts actually, which has kind of changed the way I do my grocery shopping, but we don't have a real shopping mall, quote unquote. It's more like strip malls with various stores in them, as opposed to something like Wiregrass or the Tampa Premium Outlets or something like that. And it's definitely a slower pace of life here as well. And the other thing to mention is that the schools are not going to be quite on par with some of the other neighborhoods and suburbs that we've mentioned earlier. So again, they're getting better, but you're looking at mainly B's and C's, although there are some fantastic A-grade schools that our kids have been through. My wife was a principal in the district. They are typically magnet schools or portfolio schools. So just diving into Spring Hill real quick, let's take a look there and show you just how far your money does stretch, because this is really where the beauty of it is. So I'll take a look at Silverthorne, which for me is one of the areas I've lived in Pristine Place. So Pristine Place here has this 3,200 square foot home for $589 with a pool in this gorgeous gated community, right close to Suncoast Parkway again, so you can have that super easy access down to Tampa. But just look how nice this property is. And again, the $580,000 stretches a lot further here than it does in Wesley Chapel and some of those other areas. Now there is an area called Pulte at Caldera, which I've done a ton of videos on as well, that has some fantastic new construction options. I would highly encourage a lot of people to check those out. But this will give you an idea here. This is one of the Homes by West Bay options. It's $554,000 for this 2,600 square foot home. However, the incentives are insane at the moment. As of the time of making this video, at the middle end of April, they're offering 6% of the purchase price back towards buying down the interest rate, closing costs, or off the price of the home. And there's also Pulte homes in here, building alongside with Homes by West Bay, where the homes start from around $300,000. So there's affordable options, and then there's the high-end custom homes of Homes by West Bay. And then just to show you a more typical home in what would be quote unquote the center of Spring Hill, let's take a dive in here for $350,000. There's this four bedroom, 2-bath, 2,100 square foot home with a pool, maybe a little bit older. Let's see what the pictures are like on the inside. But like I said, really good bang for your buck as far as where your money will stretch to in Spring Hill. And then zooming out and taking a look over into Brooksville, maybe not as much new construction, but I want to bring your attention to two areas over here. First one is going to be Southern Hills Plantation, which is a gorgeous gated golf course community. It's designed by Pete Dye, who if you're a golf fan, you'll know plenty about, but it's probably the best new construction, the highest end new construction in all of Hernando County. I absolutely love going in there and taking a look at the homes. I'm absolutely in love with the Perry homes in there, the Arthur Ruttenberg homes and the Vitale homes, but it's again built in that kind of Southern style, and the homes are fantastic. The amenities, they have the resort style pool. Again, you can watch my videos about the Southern Hills neighborhood and where I break down some of the amenities and stuff in there. But let's just take a look at this one here. You'll see how nice the finishes are in here. Real wood floors, tray ceilings, high-end kitchen finishes, outdoor kitchens. Really, really cool homes in here. So that would be Southern Hills. Definitely would encourage you to take a look at that if you're in the market for luxury. They start around $550,000 in there and go up. But then downtown Brooksville is where I live and love. So they have some really, really cool options here as well. And I want to show you some of the historic homes because they're so unique. So this is literally the next street over from me. This is a 100-year-old home. This is a 100-year-old home which has just been completely redone. But look how gorgeous this is. Some of the features are the original features, such as the fireplace and some of the floors. Has so much character in this house. It really is an absolute stunner. And then this one here is actually even older. This was built in 1910. This is one of the really old historic homes in Brooksville, which again maintains some of the original features. But look at the brick lined streets here and some of these old trees, just absolutely stunning. Again, it has the porch, the upstairs balcony. Again, I've done a walkthrough video on both of these homes if you hunt around the channel for the 100-year-old homes, but these wood floors are the original wood floors. Again, this kitchen's been renovated, but a lot of it maintains the original character. They've even kept the original bathrooms, which some people might not love. I personally do love. I love the quirky character of those. And then they do have some more kind of regular homes in these areas as well. This one's 440, again, a slightly older home on Liberty. But again, you can see the character that there is in these homes here, the front porch. But again, this is just really beautifully finished. So really, really cute and really, really cool. Now, like I said, downside of it is that the job prospects are a little bit lower. There's not as many amenities. It's a little bit sleepier, but personally, I love that, having come from the southwest of England in Devon, where life was a slower pace anyway. And then, like I said, in Brooksville, the one thing you're gonna notice in particular is that as you get downtown here, you can see the number of stores and restaurants that there are. I'm gonna click on this here. And again, all of these are walkable. So we live on Olive Street here. We can walk to Broad Street Brewing, which is a new brewery. It just opened up on the corner. There's Main Street Eatery. There's the Bistro, which is where I had my wedding reception. Boondoggle Eats has just opened. It has a beautiful outdoor patio. Taipei. And then you have Florida Cracker, which is now expanding throughout Florida, but is a real Brooksville staple. The Coney Island Drive-In. There's just some really, really cool options, and they have some cool events as well. So on South Brooksville Ave, they will have Friday Night Bites Nights once a month. They have Friday Night Live in Hernando Park, where they have bands playing in the bandstand. They have food trucks. They have the Watermelon Festival every year. So there's always something going on in downtown Brooksville to keep you busy. That's why I love it so much. And again, if you have any more interest in that, check out the videos on the channel, reach out to us. We live here, we're experts in the area. So that's going to do it for the map tour today. I could have gone into so much more detail and so many more areas, but I do have videos for those. So be sure to check those out. Be sure to check out the pros and cons, the community tours, the cost of living, the map tours, and then the video tours, particularly of Spring Hill, Brooksville, and Wesley Chapel. And if you have any questions, like I said, be sure to reach out to us. We're happy to answer those for you. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for the 7 suburbs in North Tampa that I think you need to know about and consider if you're looking to move to the Tampa Bay area. I hope you got a ton of information. I hope you found it valuable, and I hope it's helped narrow down your search if you're looking to make that move. Like I said, whether you're 9 days, 99 days away, if you think we can help, please reach out. We would love to show you the area and make this dream come true for you. The contact information is all below, and be sure to check out our other videos because we're doing a lot of community tours for specific neighborhoods. We're also doing a ton of new home tours and comparing certain areas with the pros and cons of living there, as well as the cost of living. I love making these videos. I love getting your guys' feedback. Hope you enjoy watching them and the rest of the videos. Until next time, guys, I'm Ross Hardy from the Hardy team. It's time to love where you live.